Jersey. It's been going on since I was a kid, called the Old Bridge Summer Festival. And it was just 2 weeks ago where he lost a pretty close match. It was either a 1 point or 2 point swing. He was training with me 3 days a week. We went through 6 workouts. His mom was next to me, and I was like crapping my pants. I was like, oh God, like here's the test. If this actually works, does this training actually work? And he like hammered this kid. He had his way with this kid. And his mom, I remember, was like, she's like, he's winning, he's winning. She's like, it works, it works. I was like, I told you it works. Deep down, I was like, holy crap. And that's when it hit me. I was like, man, we removed him from training in this like pretty boy way, feel the muscle, isolate, to just getting nasty with training. And my training was not like scientifically organized back then. It was more about kind of going through hellish workouts and using a lot of full body movements and just pushing aggressively. And that was, I think that may have been like 10 years ago. I think I was 26. So my training now is a lot more dialed in. It's, it has scientific nature behind it, especially in season. But in the off season, when we've got a little more flexibility and I need to really build their mental toughness and I don't have to worry about them practicing 6 days a week or going to a match the next day, they go through a blend of science and a blend of like hellish workouts to build the physical, to build the mental, but we also dial in their recuperation, their rest, their health, keeping them healthy. So in essence, my training back in the day was all wrong, and I also didn't dial in my technique. I should have been a guy that just did takedowns. I could take down anybody, but I kept trying to wrestle top bottom, and that was wrong. And I see coaches today now helping kids work with their personality. Some kids are great on top, and they understand that. Other kids are just great on takedowns, and that's where they feel comfortable. And hey, if that means you're going to win matches 6-3, 8-4, and that's your style, then by all means stick to it. But I trained myself the wrong way. It affected my mentality in a negative way, and it also affected my health. It just really beat up the body, doing all the wrong things. Bodybuilders do a lot of what's called forced reps, where you're helping them do repetitions, drop sets, all that stuff, and it just took away from my ability to perform. And you look good, you have beach muscles, you look good, but you don't have, that's what's called functional strength. It had no carryover, right. Especially at the points where it counted. I lost a lot of close matches to some high-level wrestlers, and that's where it all counts. It all comes down to, I always tell my guys, everything is about what you could do, not winning, not losing these close matches, and placing in the States. That's like every kid that comes to our gym, that's the goal now. Their ultimate goal is place in the States or win the States, and then we got a couple kids, they're defending state titles. Mm-hmm. But we built them up physically, and they blended it in with wrestling, becoming a better wrestler and becoming optimally trained for wrestling. And it's just cool because we got it dialed in, and the kids are always saying, man, I just feel stronger than them. I know I'm more confident than them. When it's overtime, they know they're going to win because they've been through hell. So the confidence is there. They know their body can handle it. They know their body's been trained to perform at whatever, may happen on that mat. So
if I'm a coach watching this,
yeah.
and and I believe in that, and maybe a lot of coaches have grown up sort of, trained the way you've trained, the way you did train when you were growing up, and and like, hey, that makes sense, and I want to implement this. And, we got to lift this afternoon. It's 1:30. We're recording this video right now, and
yep.
I got to lift at 3 o'clock with my team. I want to do something today. I want to incorporate something today, whether it's one exercise or 3 things. What could I do today, right now, to get this started?
Awesome question. So I want to give a couple like in-season tips, and then I'll kind of go through an in-season workout. Because I've worked with college wrestlers and high school wrestlers, and the bad thing about wrestling, as you know, is the majority of wrestling teams don't get a specialized strength and conditioning coach. They get a strength coach that's maybe working with a couple other teams. Very likely the person working with the wrestling team is not a wrestler.
Yeah.
And even more likely,
this goes
strength
for
coach doesn't
not just
understand.
wrestling. I think a lot of sports, like, football and basketball get most of the attention.
Yes.
In college especially, have a lot of time full-time strength coaches.
Yeah.
And then you get into like soccer and volleyball and softball and wrestling, and
they just kind of get whoever.
Get somebody who's working part-time or
Sure.
somebody who has a lot of sports that they're overseeing.
A lot of sports who they're overseeing with no true understanding of special strengths.
Mm-hmm.
And wrestlers have special strengths. We're going to go in high school, we're going to go 6 to 7 minutes. In college, we're going to go 7 up to 10 minutes if this overtime, just keeps going. They need special strengths. They need to maintain strength for long period for this, 6 to 10 minutes, and they need to maintain explosive speed for this amount of time. Those are considered special strengths. So in season, we've had college wrestlers come to me and say, man, my legs are always tired. I feel beat up and banged up. Number one, it's wrestling. Welcome to wrestling. Number two, our goal of in-season workouts, period, for wrestlers is that the training needs to make them better at wrestling. If your training is taking away from their ability to wrestle better, then the workout is not good. And in season, that training has to be dialed in. So what I see a lot of in-season coaches doing is they're doing heavy power clean and press, heavy deadlifts, or heavy squats followed by heavy deadlifts. They're crushing the nervous system. We want any extra energy to be used on the mat. And recovery is just critical. A lot of these coaches aren't doing any recovery work with these wrestlers at all. And that's a huge issue. So in season, number one, you want your workouts to be very short. Number two, you want to be real careful with heavy squatting, heavy deadlifting, and heavy power cleans or heavy Olympic lifts in season. They're extremely taxing on the nervous system. And if we take it too far, we're taking away from their ability to remain strong, remain explosive, highly conditioned, and here's the big one, remain healthy. What's one of the biggest issues we have with some of the great wrestlers in college? Why do they not do well when they get to the nationals? They're overtrained,
burned out,
they're injured,
and
they're just wiped out. Why? Because they've been trained way too hard. So here's the key word. We want optimal training, not maximal training. And this is where wrestling coaches are going to hate me. And because a wrestling coach, a wrestling dad, what do they want to see? What gauges a great practice for many of them?
They can't walk out of the room. They're so tired. And
that's it.
Yeah.
Make them crawl out on their knees. Kick their ass. I want them throwing up. Kick his ass all over the place. I'll kick his ass all over the place in the weight room. Then when he gets on the mat, he's going to get his ass kicked because he's got nothing in him. You exhausted him. So if you're going to use squats, deadlifts, or any of the Olympic lifts in season, go with a moderate weight, go with moderate reps, and focus on speed endurance, strength endurance. So don't overdo the weight. You probably want to be, as far as like the 1% rep range, you want to be somewhere around like 60 to 70%, and you want to do sets of 2, 3, 4 reps. So you're doing explosive low rep sets. You're not taking it to fatigue. There's no reason to do tons of extra conditioning. Why? Because if they're live wrestling a lot, their conditioning should be very high.
Yeah.
Look at all your conditioning and make it specific. So if you feel that your team, if you feel that any of the wrestlers on your team are not maintaining a high level of explosiveness or intensity in the third period, then what you want to do is mimic that stuff through the lifting. So we might do things like you might do like a barbell snatch, 3 reps every 30 seconds or every 20 seconds for 7 minutes. Boom, 1, rip it, 2, rip it, 3, and then when the next 30 seconds hit, you got to do your 3 reps immediately or the next. So now you're working on your power endurance. In season, you want to do what's coined as easy strength. And that's, a book that came out with some popular coaches, Pavel and Dan John. They really have a keen understanding about what athletes need in general, especially in season. Our in-season workouts are very short. So here's a sample in-season workout that our wrestlers did. We did 5 rounds of handstand push-ups coupled with rope climbs. Now, the first 2 sets of the rope climbs and handstand push-ups were easy. They weren't taking the maximum. The handstand push-ups were like we just held the lockout, did some mini reps. The rope climb was just up and down once. But sets 3, 4, and 5 were more aggressive. We let them get warmed up. So we did that right there is called strength endurance and speed endurance because they're explosive on their push-ups. They don't go to fatigue. They leave 1 or 2 reps in the tank. On the rope climb, they don't kill it because you kill those rope climbs, and with all the pushing and pulling in season, your biceps are going to get wrecked. So we do 5 rounds back to back, or maybe we climb the rope, handstand push-up, 30-second rest. As they get stronger and they build up the strength endurance, it's 5 rounds nonstop. Then after that, we did trap bar deadlifts. Straight bar deadlifts are a lot more brutal on the lower back, especially in season. Off season, we'll do straight bar deadlifts, but very low reps. In season, very low reps with the trap bar. We did 2 warm-up sets, 2 sets of 5, a light and a medium set. Then we added a little bit of weight, and we did 6 sets of 2 reps. 2 reps fast. Up, up, down. Boom. 2 reps done. And that weight was not heavy. It was a moderate weight. It was focused on speed. But we rested very short. We did an I go, you go, maybe 3 guys in a group. So they were essentially going every 30 seconds. So they rope climb and handstand push up 5 rounds back to back. They should be done in a few minutes. Then they do the trap bar deadlift with a small group. I go, you go. If we feel they're resting too much, they do a set of abs after every set or after every other set. And then when they were done, we do grip and abs, and we do specific work for the shoulders using bands to just keep the shoulders healthy. So we do a very short workout, but what is that? That's not maximal, it's optimal. Why do I need to train more? They're already training 2.5 hours a day, 6 days a week on low calories.
Yeah, work smarter, not harder, right?
Work smart, and it's so hard for the wrestlers to understand that, but our wrestlers get it because off season they go through brutal workouts. We could give them those crushing workouts because they could recover. In season, now we're still going to gain and we're going to remain healthy. And what happens is the majority of our guys, barring no freakish injuries on the mat, they show up at the end of the year healthy, excited, like psychologically, they're excited, they're motivated, they're not burnt out, they're ready to go. The key is we want them to leave the gym more energetic than when they walked in the gym. And that's the real key. And then we do a lot of recovery work with them, a lot of massage work. They do the foam rollers, the lacrosse ball, and they do it when they get in, they do it in between their sets, and they do it at the end. So they're doing about 10 minutes of self-massage every time they're with us. And they train with us 1 to 2 days a week. And when the season gets busier, they're with us really once a week. And when they want to do conditioning on their own, I tell them to get on the jump rope, avoid long-distance running, or go to the pool and swim aggressive laps, swim down, back, hop out of the pool, 10 push-ups, get back in the pool, do breaststroke, down and back, then 10 push-ups, then, freestyle, then do like the muscle-ups off the edge of the pool where you just keep pushing yourself up. So we find ways to get their training to be real specific in season, but off season, it's all general physical prep.